Welcome to Madman Minimal Spoiler Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 review. I've already done detailed early review video on the channel for the first region without the main story quests mentioned, in which everything said can be applied to the full game, and now with addition of reviewing the fantastic story with fantastic story quests. And yes, even From Whom the Bell Tolls quest is great, except the first part where we hold sex, because the freedom and options given in that quest is what role-playing games should be about. Review key was provided by the publisher, but that doesn't affect my reviews in any way. Played the game for about 140 hours in total, finished almost all the quests, and took my time to enjoy the writing and the world. Won't mention any political stuff that has been going around about KCD2, as there is going to be a special video just for that. So let's get started, you tin can bastards. KCD continues Henry's adventure in the Kingdom of Bohemia in the 14th century. It starts off bloody and brutal in the intro with lots of humor in between. That's the theme throughout the whole game. You'll laugh your ass off and also experience horrors of medieval war through massacres, burned villages, political intrigues between the two kings and their supporters, shocking twists and whatnot. World of 14th century Bohemia has been brilliantly done. It's vibrant, with NPCs living their lives by working through most of the day, going to tavern, getting drunk, washing clothes, fighting, discussing amongst themselves various topics, and making Henry feel like a part of this world by saying hello, making fun of him if he's missing piece of clothing, robbing him, and similar stuff. KCD2 with such a detailed world is one of the most immersive experiences I've had in a long time. It's very easy to get lost in it by just doing ordinary tasks like blacksmithing, hunting, stealing, killing, playing dice. Only thing I would add are many more enemy camps, ambushes on the open road, dangerous animals and such to increase the difficulty for mid to late game especially. For early game it's not necessary. Reason is that sometimes the world outside of towns can be a bit empty, but then an occasional rider goes by, soldiers patrol, random encounters on the world map happen that can be really interesting and aren't just fighting oriented, so it's not that the world is really empty, but it could use more enemies later to make continuous success while progressing a bit more difficult. Every proper RPG lives or dies by the pen, meaning writing. Happy to say that writing is incredible. Every quest is full of interesting bits and pieces. What I like as well is the fact that quests last for some time and are not menial tasks like kill 10 bears, even though my biggest gripe with quests is the fact there is menial labor at times, like hauling sacks and doing similar tedious stuff. For example, in Whom the Bell Tolls, player has to haul 3 sacks, which takes a while. Such parts would benefit from being shortened. In most cases, while doing menial stuff, something is happening though, like unique conversations, so it's almost never nothing happening while doing boring tasks. That is part of the realism and immersion that Warhorse is going for in this game, which is why KCD2 is not for everyone. There's a lot of talking, and if you decide to skip and not participate, then you'll miss out on a lot of fantastic stuff.
Very well then, or not. It's up to you. You ready? Ow! Ah! Ah! Oh, what's your problem, you idiot? Was that...
Story quests are so good at times, with full-on sieges, ambushes of whole armies, infiltrating major meetings as a waiter doing menial tasks like pouring wine when the politicians are talking, which was quite an interesting experience, conducting murder investigations, finding drunks at weddings. Second part of the game is essentially like Inglourious Bastards, with a bunch of crazy characters mixed together to change the course of history. Story quests are fantastic with awesome writing. Henry can affect many things in story and side quests to a great degree at times, but the general story about the Battle of Two Kings is going to play out the way it does no matter what. There's plenty of small and big choices that immerses players more and more into the game's world. I felt emotional about some of the things happening when horrors of war and lack of value of a human life is on display, or after an important bastard kills his dog just like that. I couldn't wait to beat 7 shades of shit out of him afterwards. Side quests are proper stories in itself. These aren't your run-of-the-mill quests, but long ones with lots of meaning, options and dialogue choices. Henry is almost never a bystander in quests, and I love that. Not every decision he needs to make is important, but it doesn't have to be. Many small decisions affect immersion in a great way. It helps a lot that almost every NPC is incredibly detailed and believable. Voice actors did an amazing job, especially adding foreign languages into the mix. Makes the world feel even more real. Characters are top-notch, like a well-made movie at times.
Did Henry take his sweet time with a rope? Or are you this stupid from birth and I just forgot?
Nah, he's thicker now. If Henry let him choke any longer, he'd be drooling on his shirt.
Chcesz mordę?
Shut up! Fucking hell.
What biting your arse, devil, huh?
Yeah, I wanted to say I'm glad you and Ada are back. But I don't feel like it anymore.
No to my się sami napijemy.
Only potential issue with quests, aside from menial tasks, is that markers are vague, which can slow down the progression a lot. It's part of the realism by only providing general info and directions. Warhorse might have been stuck in no man's land when making the decision about the quest markers, since hand-holding is not an option. And good on them, because it would make lots of clue-pointing dialogue pointless and redundant. Vague markers would be the middle ground between hand-holding and nothing at all. Another reason that this game isn't for everyone, because reading and patience is necessary to be able to pinpoint quest progression parts better. Sometimes it sucks and isn't well done, but mostly works well enough. Combat in KCD2 is truly something unique. It's brilliant with maximum engagement and competent AI that is going to challenge the player's skill frequently. 1v1, this is one of the best combat systems in gaming right now, I'd say. Realistic moves, proper back and forth, blood, hit and kill satisfaction, the way each weapon type feels. System is improved compared to the original game by changing the combat rosette a bit, with each weapon type having specific attack directions, and Warhorse has improved fighting many enemies at once. Though fighting many enemies can still be a bit clunky due to Rosetta disappearing at times when turning quickly, but it's definitely an improvement overall.
Do it! Now that's what I call an opener.
Stealth gameplay is incredible. I love stealth in games, and with this crime and punishment system it can be quite immersive and exciting, especially during the early game. Henry can be branded so that everyone knows he's a thief or a murderer, and if he takes it too far, even hanged. Sneaking around, killing off enemies and robbing is truly well done. Small details like closing the doors, NPCs spotting Henry entering the house and then notifying guards afterwards if something gets stolen. Outfit importance. Fun as heck dialogue when Henry tries to use speech to get away with crime committed. It's simply brilliant. Only thing I didn't like is that enemy AI is really dumb when it comes to stealth. They do raise alarms and search, which is fine, but can't see high level Henry even if he's walking right in front of them in the night, which does ruin immersion a bit. Overall, talking about character progression and balancing, which was an issue in the first game, Henry still becomes way too powerful later on, but even so balancing is much better this time around. If you play the game slowly, explore, participate in everything, Henry is going to become a beast, because his attributes increase by just playing the game. If you fight a lot in heavy armor with heavy weapons, strength is going to increase more. If you're using bow and agile footwork during combat, then agility increases more. Talk a lot to people, speech increases because of it. So it's rewarding doing stuff in the game. Generally in RPGs this type of character progression works because it complements what the player is actually doing, and KCD2 is no exception. Though I would seriously lower Henry's high level power because he becomes a Terminator. Needs toning down a few notches for the sake of realism. One of the issues are perks. Some of the perks are quite interesting, but it's an underwhelming system because it's too linear. More perks are needed so that the player can make choices. This way Henry acquires all perks upon leveling the skill to 30. From a technical standpoint, the game is in a decent to good state. Looks incredible and framerate is fantastic, but there's lots of graphical glitches, broken animations and bugs. Still far better than the first game and many other games on their release date. At least on PC where I played. In the Madman reviews there's a maddening segment where I mention things that piss me off. In KCD2 it's very clear what was pissing me off since the start. Not being able to sell stuff directly from horse's inventory. Instead we have to move to inventory, move to horse, move to inventory, move to horse, and it's fucking annoying. Another thing is looting weapons. Good luck finding weapons of fallen enemies when they hit the ground, especially amongst the foliage. Weapons should be on the enemy's screen upon looting them. Period. Time for the final verdict. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of the best games of modern times. It's not for everyone and it doesn't have to be, but players who want to get immersed into the 14th century world of Bohemia are going to be pleasantly surprised with incredible things that the game does, like amount of details, writing, humor, characters, story, combat system, stealth. While far from perfect, KCD2 is a product of gamers creating something with pride and love for the product, and it shows everywhere. For me, KCD2 is a 9 out of 10 game which translates to amazing, with potential at 10 which translates to a masterpiece. To reach 10, many graphical glitches would have to be fixed, late game better balanced, late economy better balanced too, stealth AI improved, and adding features like selling from the horse, some kind of survival mode or modes where we can just fight all day long. All of that is possible, but we'll see. On a subjective note, KCD2 is one of the best games I've played in the last 10 years or so. If you're a proper RPG fan, there's very little at fault here except the linear character progression. Can't recommend KCD2 enough. This is what AAA gaming should be about. Check out the description for Patreon subscribes and merch, and thanks for watching.